Hello, beloveds. Welcome to Love Revolution with Dr. Roz. I am delighted, so excited to share with y'all my sister, April Brumm. She and I met through a mutual connection, and I absolutely love and adore this person. And she is a sister. She is an e-women sister. She is an entrepreneur sister, and she is a heart sister. You know, we just have those people that we just instantly connect with. And April is one of them. And there are a lot of things about April and I that are a lot alike. And so I got compared to her earlier today, and I was just so complimented, April. So anyway, I'm just delighted to have you here on Love Revolution and talking about how you are leading with love, both leading April with love, leading your business with love. And just, you know, for context, this is not one of those emotional, sentimental, like, how am I being gushy, gushy, lovey, lovey? It is a cognitive choice, an intellectual choice. And one of the things I heard you say recently in terms of you leading with love has to do with clutter in your closet. So can you expand a little bit on ways that you love April in terms of that?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm so delighted. I'm always delighted to get to spend time with you. And I always learn something new, whether it's about myself or what. But I think that's one of the things. So you mentioned my closet. I am one of those super minimalist. I have roughly 50 or 60 pieces of clothing. I have favorite earrings. I have just a couple of things, and I keep life very, very simple. I did read recently, this was even after I had simplified my closet. I read that when you walk into a closet that is lots and lots of clutter and squished together, and there's lots of decisions to make, your body releases cortisol, which is actually the hormone that causes stress, that is released when there's stress, and that also promotes fat storage. And so I was like, oh my goodness. And I don't think it's any giant coincidence that I have dropped 20 pounds since September and 7 inches in my waist, all the while cutting out sugar completely out of my life. And I think that is one way that we truly, truly can love ourselves, is to put ourselves first. The whole put your oxygen mask on first kind of rule, because my husband's a pilot. So of course we fly by aviation rules a lot of times around here.
Yeah.
But I think about that sometimes when I see these women struggling, and I think that was me. And I still have days when I struggle, but when you realize that you can be your best self for the world, by taking care of yourself, it really changes things. And so I would have never, until I truly admitted it and God showed it to me. I don't think prior to September, I don't think I really would have ever admitted that sugar could be an addiction, a true addiction. But when I made the decision, and I've been on again, off again, you know, everybody says, I'm going to try to quit sugar for a week, you know, and try means you're not going to do it. And so try is never the thing that people say when they're actually going to do something. But in September, something switched, and I said, I'm going to go all in till December. Really, I did put an ending to it. I said, I'm going to go all in until December 31st.
Which from September means Halloween, Thanksgiving,
all the food
holiday parties,
all the food holidays, right? Yeah,
right up
all the church dinners. And so people thought I was crazy. They're like, you're giving up sugar at the best time of the year. I'm like, well, I mean, when's a better time, right? So it was 3 to 4 weeks. And one night, I'm a member of a Marco Polo group, and Marco Polo is a very, very convenient free app that you can use to create community. I'm in a Marco Polo group with 20 other Trim Healthy Mamas, and we support each other. And one of them will come on at 8 o'clock at night and say, y'all, I'm gonna eat the marshmallow beet. And we're like, no, you know. And so when you've got community,
Yes.
Yet another way you can love yourself.
That's exactly right.
Build a community around yourself of people that are like-minded, that are going to love you through the hard times. I got on there one night. And you'll understand this because you're from the South too. I said, because we attach food with love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We love with food.
Yeah.
That's how we love our people. And I said, I wish that the last time I ate my mama's caramel cake, I knew it was going to be the last time, because I would have eaten another piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
And can I have it? Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But
Is it loving?
does it serve myself well?
Right. 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 Right.
And so
in
I
that
went through a
example,
mourning period.
is it the caramel cake that you miss?
Right.
Is it the associated love from your mother?
Because it was my mama's caramel cake. Like,
yeah.
you can, people, in the South, it's okay for you to dog your mama, but nobody else gets to.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I thought, gosh, that is a sign of an addiction, when you have an emotional response to not getting the thing that you,
Mm-hmm.
ooh.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I realized, okay, that was a dose of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, you know what? This is not serving me. And that cake is not attached to my mama.
Right. It's only in your head.
Right.
The connection.
Yes.
You in your business, you talk about community, you talk about belonging, you talk about loving others, you talk about leading with love long before I ever met you. So I cannot take any credit for that whatsoever, but I've just watched you from afar. And one of the things, and one of the reasons why I wanted to have this video, is for you to share with the world how it is that you build community and you infuse your business with love. Would you be willing to talk a little bit about that, please?
Oh goodness. I don't think I could do my business without it. Like, that is what drew me to using the service that I use. It's called Send Out Cards. I use that service because it's the vehicle, it's the mechanism that allows me to love on a much grander scale. So I actually I received this card in the mail after I always take a picture with my mama before I leave town, always, no matter what. Doesn't matter what we look like, because there's going to come a day when I can't. So someone mailed me, this was last Mother's Day, all it says is Happy Mother's Day on the back. So do you think I will ever get rid of this?
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
So when you can do this for a friend in less than a minute, and it costs nothing, this is why I do what I do. This is what gets me up. When I can post a collage and somebody mails it to me.
Oh, wow.
This is priceless.
Yeah.
My Mother's Day card last year said, Motherhood Inc., Human Resources. And she's sitting at the desk and she goes, one vacation day a year, that's all I get? She goes, well, we call it Mother's Day, so technically you do still have to work.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and Mother's Day is coming up too. So it just was, when you can truly, tangibly say to someone, I see you, and you matter, and you are loved. Because some days we can say that to someone and give them a hug, and they're not in a frame of mind to hear it because they're suffering so badly.
Talk about that a little bit more.
So when people are in a season of grief, when they're in a season of struggle, which we all go through,
right?
And thank the Lord we don't all go through it at one time.
And it might not be grief from death. Right.
It could be grief from you got fired. You didn't get the job you wanted. You made an F on a grades or something. Yeah. But when you're able to reach out in kindness, and our parent company is actually called Promptings.
Ah.
So we teach. I'm a certified promptings coach. We teach how to hear those promptings
Oh.
and not just hear them, but then put action behind them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when I tell people, act on your promptings, they're there for a reason. So that hearing the promptings is actually a muscle.
Yes.
And the more we do what the Holy Spirit tells us to do in those promptings, the more we act on it, the more he trusts us with it and he gives us more to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just like when my kids were growing up, and you probably did the same thing. When I tell my boys, if you ignore the Holy Spirit enough, pretty soon you won't hear him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
We
you
used to
have
talk
to
about it
listen.
like a bungee cord.
Right.
That the more closely you listen, then the more closely tied you are. And so
Yes.
the more quickly you kind of bounce back. But
Right.
then the more you stretch that out. What words do you put for people that don't share the same faith tradition as you?
Well, I tell them this is what I always preface every sentence with "for me."
Exactly.
So for me, the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit provides my promptings. But when I say to someone, when you get that little prompting in your head and you think of someone, that's every human on the planet.
Exactly. Great. Yeah.
And so people always will naturally, and I really feel like there's good in all of us. And I think people have that dopamine release when they do something good, and it propels them to do more good, so they can, other people can call it whatever they want to call it. So I say, for me, that's where mine come from. But people get it. They totally get it. They're like, oh yeah, I've thought of people before. And then I think I'm going to call them later. Right. I'm going to text them later.
Right. Right.
But our app allows you to stop what you're doing, and in 1 minute you can send them a card and then move on with your day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's really kind of neat.
And it's completely, as you said and pointed out, it's personalized.
Right.
So it's not
yes.
I'm going to act on a prompting and I have to send the card of the day or whatever.
Right. Or whatever is on the shelf. Yeah.
That is, specifically for that person in that season for that thing.
Yeah. And I have a lot of people say, oh, well, that's nice, but I'd really rather use my own handwriting. And so our company will create your own handwriting font that is your handwriting.
Wow. Wow.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
Even though mine's atrocious, I wouldn't inflict that on anybody, but
oh,
I much prefer the fonts that they provide.
I probably thought that was your handwriting. So you just go with that. Just go.
They do have some that look like handwriting. So yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, as we wrap up, what is your biggest takeaway, or what has been the biggest impact on doing the Leading with Love package with me? What are you most grateful for, or what were you surprised by? However you want to answer that.
When my very first conversation with you, I was not putting myself first. I was putting out all the fires and playing whack-a-mole with everybody that needed me. And therefore they were getting what was left over of me at the end of a very tired day. But when I start my day, I am now on day 102 of starting my day with Bible reading. And I do it before I take my phone off of Do Not Disturb. Yep. I do have a cup of coffee first, because first coffee. But we have to be able to understand, comprehend, and hear. So coffee must come first. Yeah. But I center myself. Some people work out first, some people walk first, some people just meditate first, whatever centers you. I would encourage anybody to get in your sphere of influence so that they can do this. Yeah. And let you go, hello. Because you have a way of going, okay, what if this? And it makes people stop and pause and go, Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we self-analyze in a negative way,
Mm-hmm.
but you're able to redirect that. So
Yeah.
that is so powerful and so valuable.
Oh, great. Thank you for saying that. Thank you so much for saying that. Because I want people to see their true essence. And not only are they at love at their core, but also those promptings, like acting on that love, creates more of the love.
Mm-hmm.
And being unloving creates more unlovingness.
Right. It breeds itself. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So whichever thing you want to, it's like that thing about, the wolf, which wolf or whatever that thing is. Do you feed the angry wolf or the happy wolf, whatever that thing is? But
right.
Whatever it is that we're putting more attention to, more energy to, more love to,
Mm-hmm.
then that's what happens. And so if we are constantly self-critical, and
yes.
And one of the things that you and I have talked about before is women who are raised in the South, maybe from a particular faith tradition, perhaps, but all of that is conflated to, not only am I to be a good person, but I'm responsible for others to think that I am a good person.
Right. We got to look at too. Yes.
Two different things.
Yeah.
Completely. But I got the messages growing up that was completely conflated, that
right.
one was as important as the other.
Yes.
And once I realized that it's my responsibility to be the best person that I can be, and it is zero my responsibility. Your opinion, not you, April, but yes, you, April, your opinion of me is none of my business.
Mm-hmm.
It's something I say to my students all the time, and talk about releasing so much stress.
Right.
Talking about the cortisol and the stress. And I was thinking about that's one of the things that people talk about leading with love, is that it reduces stress.
Yes.
In whatever. So I've heard, like, our managing director, Amy Matthews, she talked about traveling with love, reduce stress. So if you encounter a snafu in TSA or, whatever, that you just go, okay, this is, and somebody else today actually texted me and said, if people knew how fun it is to lead with love, they would do it more often.
Right. It's a lot easier.
April, I mean, you are so fun. You act on those promptings, and then, and maybe maybe you're just truly living high on all the dopamine from the good.
Right.
It's like you have all this dopamine from the good, and then you've reduced the cortisol because you've reduced like choices in your closet or choices in your, then
yeah.
All of that is interconnected and interwoven.
It really is. And I think if we just, I actually entertained the idea of paring down the birthday cards that I send in a month. And I'm a little behind in the month of April. And then realizing that Amy's was coming up, I was like, oh gosh, we're going to send a whole lot of belated cards this week. But I actually entertained the idea of paring down birthday cards because I send about 300 birthday cards a month.
Wow.
But right about that time, and again, this is how the promptings work. Right about that time, I had that thought. A friend of mine who has since moved away, she's in another state now and haven't seen her in a while, but I sent her a birthday card. She sent me a private message and she said, your card is the only one I got.
Wow.
And that was my signal.
Yeah.
Keep on going.
Keep going.
God will provide the funds. He will provide all the means that are necessary to keep going.
Yeah.
No matter what, because somebody out there is feeling lonely in a crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
And feeling like they don't matter.
Yes. Yes.
And if we all acted on our promptings, I do believe that people would realize that they indeed do matter.
Yes.
But I can only do what I'm supposed to do. Encourage others to do the same.
Yeah. I just want to reach out and give you a big hug.
I know, right?
Thank you, thank you, thank you for being you. Thank you for leading with love. Thank you for agreeing to this video. Thank you for the amazingness and the love that you put into the world.
I love you. That's so awesome.
Love you. Love you.
All right.
All right, beloveds. That's it for this time. And join us next time for Love Revolution with Dr. Roz. Appreciate y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.